How to post a Hyrox time you're proud of. Hi, I'm Jordan. I'm a Hyrox coach. I compete and I judge as well. So in this video, we're going to go over the strategies that you need not only to complete a Hyrox, but to post a time that you're overly proud of, something that puts a smile on your face. Because let's be honest here, it's not about a big Hyrox time. It's about doing something that makes you proud. It's about being proud of what you've just achieved. Now, a wise woman, my missus, told me when she was training for her half marathon, it's the marathon, the half marathon itself, it's in the training. The half marathon, the event, is the victory lap. And that's no different than with Hyrox. The hard bit, the bit that's going to make you proud, is going to be in the training, in the trenches when no one's there, no one's cheering you on. That's where the proudness will come from. That's where the pride will come from. When you go out and you're in that pen and you run out of your Hyrox, all of that training is going to pay off. That is when you actually get to sit down. Well, not sit down, that's the wrong word, but that's when you get to enjoy it. Just embrace it, take it all in and be proud that you're there and that you're running in that event. So, I'm Jordan. I was literally a hybrid athlete before hybrid athletes were even a thing. I was playing rugby since I was probably about that big, 5 years old. So strength and conditioning, what I call the original hybrid athletes, people who play, football, people who play rugby, people who play any sport essentially where running and lifting is a big part of our training, are like the original hybrid athletes. So I've been in and around this world literally since I was 5 years old. My dad played a high level football. I've always been around the gym. I've always enjoyed health and fitness. I've always been a little bit of a nerd when it comes down to health and fitness. And this is why I love Hyrox, because it's me down to an absolute T. But look, it's not all about me. This is Hugh and Trav. They managed to hit a 1:06 on their first ever Hyrox outing. This is me and Bridget. We hit a 1:20, and 2 weeks before that, Bridget had actually ran a half marathon. So she had 2 weeks Hyrox Pacific training, still managed to come in and post that time. You then have Ash and Leo, who hit the fastest sled pull in Hyrox Sydney. Across here, we have Inez. By the age of 40, she was told by doctors that she would be dead. Now she's 41, completing Hyroxes. We have Isabel, who got, let's say, bullied into doing a Hyrox event by her sister with 8 weeks notice. With the right program, she went in and hit a 1:16. And then you have myself. I managed to nearly knock off 20 minutes from Hyrox Brisbane to Hyrox Sydney, which is about 3 to 4 months. So I know this program works because it's been yielding results. Now, where you are right now, you're probably in one of two camps. You're probably looking at a Hyrox, feeling a little bit intimidated, but you know it's something you want to try, but you just don't know where to start because it's not like conventional training. It's not like, running a marathon where you're like, cool, I just need to go run. It's not like stepping on stage with bodybuilders where you're like, cool, I just need to lift weights. There's a lot of nuances behind it. There's a lot of, strength training behind it, running behind it, mobility behind it. There's so many different aspects of Hyrox that we need to focus on to make sure that you're a complete athlete when you step forward for Hyrox. Or you've probably done a Hyrox as well. If you're in the other camp, you've done a Hyrox before, you're happy with your time, but you know you're capable of more. You know that you can level up, and you know that with the right program, with the right structure, with the right support, you can do a lot better than what you did in the first round. Now, the thing with Hyrox, it is literally the highest energy sport. What I mean by that, it requires so much energy from your body. It is completely different than most sports out there. It's different than running a marathon because you have to worry about anaerobic bits where you're pushing the sled, where you're doing the lunges. It's different than, rugby because there's no stopping points. It's different than swimming. It's different than near enough every sport out there because it's so consistent. It's so relentless on your body for that anywhere between an hour to 2 hours. So you need to be training in the right way to make sure that you have the skills and make sure that you have the ability to be able to withhold everything that Hyrox is throwing at you. And this is why you'll notice a lot of the elite athletes, a lot of the people at the top of the Hyrox game, they're not there doing F45. They're not there going to group fitness. They're there with their own program. They're there with a program designed for them. They're there with a program that is based around their weaknesses to help them develop something that is personalized down to them. And this is where, there's a huge difference between the people who go out and do real good in Hyrox and people who are average. The people who are average, they're probably, like an F45, BFT, a Orange Rooms, that sort of group training where, again, let's take F45 as an example. They probably have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of members. So they're not going to have a program designed specifically for you in the same way this program gets specifically designed for you. This program will be based around your weaknesses. So this program will be based around what you need to focus on rather than what a million other F45 members need to focus on. So the way we approach our training, and this is even if you don't want coaching afterwards, please do take notes because I'm going to tell you how you can literally plan your own workout programs as well. And we'll go over everything with nutrition and all that sort of fun stuff. But the way I program it for my clients, we go over the foundation. So the foundational phase is we're just building our foundational strength. We're getting that body ready to avoid injuries and make sure that it's strong enough and has good technique for the next phases ahead. Then we're going to move into our testing. So our testing is probably one of the most important phases we do. We need to know where you are. We need to know where your 5K time is. We need to know where your 10K time is. We need to know what your squat is. We need to know how strong you are, how fit you are, all that sort of stuff. Because that is where that program is going to be designed specifically for you. And as I said, this is where, this is different than, an F45, for example, because when we do our runs, there's 5 different runs we do. But when we do your runs, I will base that run. I will tell you how fast to run. Now, obviously, you're going to run at a different pace than what I'm going to run. So I'm not going to give you the same program that I'm going to give me because we both need different programs. I hope that makes sense. Then after that, we're going to build. We're going to start building out that strong body. We're going to start building out that strong physique. Then after that, we move into base. And that's sort of the bridging gap between the build and then the condition, because then we're going to be following the base up with condition. We're getting that body ready. Then we have a little bit of time to taper. So this taper, again, is so important. Some people don't like the taper week because we take a step back. We deload. We take back that intensity. We let the body recover. Because what's going to happen after taper, we're either going to race or we're going to retest. So we want to make sure that our bodies get in time to recover. You do not want to be hitting a hard week of training just before your Hyrox event. Because you want your body to be well recovered. You want your body to be ready. You want your body to feel, right, we've got the energy, let's go. Rather than like, it's a hard week of training, mate. Like, we need to calm down a bit. Then you're going to throw yourself into a Hyrox. So this is why having the right phased approach is going to be so important for you. Now, on top of that, it's not just about strength. It's not about just lifting weights. We need the right amount of running. And this is where I see a lot of people completely ruin their own Hyrox program, where it all goes wrong. Because people tend to be one or two sides. They either run too much or they don't run enough. Because some people will be like, Hyrox is a running race, so I need to run more. You look at the elite, the James Newbys of the world, the Tiers, the Hunters. They are hitting anywhere between 70 to 120 Ks a week on their running. Now, people will see them and be like, right, I need to run more. So they just focus on their running. They neglect their strength. But what people forget, it's these guys up here are elite athletes. These elite athletes have enough time to get all of their work in underneath, to build out that foundation, to have their strength training, and then add in that level of volume. Now, if you're working a job, if you have friends, if you have family, if you have a social life, you probably can't be hitting the same amount of volume that they're hitting. And this is where, we need to find the right amount of running for you as an individual, rather than just saying, cool, the elite people are doing 70K, you're going to have to give up everything now. You're going to have to give up your social life, your job, everything for the next few months if you want to hit a good Hyrox time. So when it comes down to the phased approach, how could your training look? So on Monday, the way I tend to program, again, everyone's slightly different. We do a full body strength. Then Tuesday, we do an upper and a run. Wednesday, we hit a long run. Thursday, we hit legs and a run. Friday, we're doing like a Hyrox style workout. Saturday, we just chill out. Sunday, you're doing your long run. Now look, even though you've seen the words run there a fair bit, I do 5 different runs. There's 5 different runs I program for my clients. Because it's not just about learning how to run far for long. It's not about just learning how to run fast but short. We need to find a good blend of everything. We need to know, and we need to get your body ready for those fast kilometers, but we still need that aerobic base to be able to maintain for a long duration that Hyrox is. So those run-ins, 5 different types of runs. It's not just doing the same run day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out, because it will get boring as well. So I like to keep it fresh for my clients. But that's a really good approach to your training that you can follow. If you do have any questions about training, drop me a message on Instagram. I'm most active on there. Then we also need to look at your food. Food is fuel. We need to make sure that we're hitting the right amount of protein. We need to make sure that we're hitting the right amount of fat. We need to make sure that we're hitting the right amount of carbs. There isn't one size fits all for food. Because the thing with food, it's your sex matters, your height matters, your body composition matters, what you do for work matters. There's so many different variables that I can go over right now to give you personalized feedback within your nutrition. I can't do it in a general video like this. So if you do want more help with your food, if you're unsure what to do, drop me a message on Instagram, just asking the question and I will get back to you, okay? But we need to make sure that we're fueling the body right. We need to make sure that we have a good relationship with food. And this is why I love things like Hyrox, I love CrossFit, I love rugby. Because when I was probably about 16, 17, to probably about 25, I was starting to move away from sports. You know, you discover drinking, discover girls. You know, I was more going towards that bodybuilding type of training where I thought, I need to have a six-pack to be accepted. I need to have bigger arms because that's going to get me a girl. I need this sort of stuff. And it ruined my relationship with food, in all honesty. Because I was so obsessed with calories. I had terrible body dysmorphia. I would look at myself in the mirror, completely unhappy with what I looked like. And this is where, you know, something like Hyrox has helped so much. Because rather than now seeing, you know, calories, all that sort of stuff, you know, that's going to make me fat. That's going to, you know, I need to eat more protein, blah, 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 blah. I just see food as fuel. So if one day I overeat, I'm like, cool, I'm going to have more energy over the next few days. Why don't we do a long run over the next few days? So you can really start strategizing your training and all that sort of stuff around the amount of food that you're eating. So when it comes down to protein, you roughly want about 2 grams per kilo of your target body weight. Fats and carbs is a lot harder to work out for you, so feel free to drop me a message and I'll go over that. Now, you're not going to be good at Hyrox without the right mindset. So I'm going to go over a few things to help improve your mindset to make sure that we're getting the most, not only from our training, but from race day. The most important one, and I learned this when I was doing my Hyrox coaching qualification, and I love this quote, your legs will always come back to you. Your legs will always come back to you. In fact, your legs are going to flush out the lactic acid quicker. So when you finish those heavy leg exercises, you know, your lunges, your sled pushes, that sort of stuff, when your legs are like, oh my God, what are we doing? And they feel like cement, just start a slow jog. Walk in. Not only are you going to cover less distance in the same amount of time, it's going to take longer for you to recover. It's not a good world to be in. So if you just start, even if it's a slow jog, literally just a little bit faster than walking, you're going to be already winning. On top of that, and this is something I really keep trying to tell myself when I'm in, you know, that pain cave, when I'm not enjoying my training, it's those end parts of the workout, so the bits of the workout where you're like, cool, I've got, you know, 5 minutes, I just want to quit now, I'm nearly done. That's the payment for the wall balls. That is where your payment for the wall balls will come in. And what I mean by that is those last 5 minutes of the workout where it's hard, you're breathing heavy and you're like, I just want to stop now. That is going to be your payment for the wall balls. That's going to make you better at the wall balls. That is going to make you more mentally resilient. So when you get to the wall balls, because I'll be honest with you, I've done Hyrox a few times now, it sucks, the wall balls. Because you're breathing heavy, you're tired already, and you're at the point, right, I have to do 100 now. But if you're able to get your training in when you're in that sort of sucking zone, and like, cool, when you get into the wall balls, it makes it a lot easier. Then, when we talk about the ski and the row, on the last probably, I'd say about 80 to 50 meters, I very much go very upper body heavy. So if I'm on the ski, I do my last ones just near enough arms only, back only. Because that's going to give my legs a little bit of a rest because I know I'm about to go out and run. Same logic with the row. I go a little bit harder in my pulls, taking the stress out of my legs, more into my upper body, knowing full well that I'm about to start running. So we can have tactics to make it easier for you. And when it comes down to especially the ski, especially the rope, you only want to do 80%. You only want to do 80%. At the point I'm recording this, I can do 1K ski in about 3 minutes 35. I will not do Hyrox at a 3:35 pace. When I do Hyrox, going in ski erg, coming out of the ski bit, that's about a 4-minute window for me. And that's going to stick at that 4-minute window because I know for a fact, if I get it down to that 3:35, cool, I've knocked off 25 seconds. But I know for a fact, going 25 seconds slower, I'm going to make up for that 25 seconds in that next run. I'm going to make up for that 25 seconds because I'm not going to be as tired. So really try to utilize where your strengths are to make it more efficient within your Hyrox. Then another thing, you don't want to just run whatever feels right. When you're on race day, you want to know your splits. You want to know how fast you need to be running. And that's where, with my clients, we sit down, we do our strategy call. Going into Hyrox, months before, my clients know exactly what pace they're going to be aiming at. All their training, and this is where, the personalized approach comes in. With their run program, I am telling them we are coaching their body on running at a certain pace. So when they get into Hyrox, they can get in and start running that pace comfortably. So it's not just, okay, I'm going to start running. Okay, this feels like a good pace. Okay, I'm just going to do this pace. I might go a little bit faster now. Okay, let's go a little bit faster. Oh, no, this is too fast. It's not like that. They know exactly what they need to be doing. Then the final one, the right program and the right strategy will make a huge difference when it comes down to Hyrox. As I said earlier on, the professionals, they're elite, the top of the top. They're not there doing group fitness. They're not there at 45. They're there with their own program. They're there with the right program for them. They're there with the right strategy for them. And that is why they're elite. That's why they're up there. That's why they're top of the top. So, look, with your permission now, I want to tell you a little bit about my coaching. If you're not interested in coaching, feel free to turn it off. If you are interested how I'm managing to get unreal results with people within their Hyrox journey, a coach is someone who tells you what you don't want to hear, who can see what you don't want to see, so you can become who you've always known you could be. And that is how I see my role as a coach and potentially your coach. I am here to give you the program that you require. I'm here to give you the support that you require to get those results, to get results that you are proud of, to get results that not only you're proud of, but get you phenomenal results within your health and your fitness. And this is one of the first things I coach. We need to park the emotion behind your programming. We need to park the emotion behind your health and your fitness, behind your nutrition. And what I mean by that is, like, today, I'm going to have to go do a 70-minute run. Zone 2, it's very, very boring. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I need to park my emotion. I need to park the fact that I'm going to find it a little bit boring. So I'm going to download a good podcast, pop my headphones in, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to do that. Because I know that that is where the results are. So, what is included in the coaching? So you get the full Hyrox training program with all of the phased approach that I have gone over earlier on to make sure that you get those results you're proud of. Within the one-to-one coaching side, you'll also get program adjustments. If your gym doesn't have certain equipment, if you have a little bit of a niggle, the program will get personalized down to you as an individual. On top of that, you get the running framework. And this is why testing is going to be so important, because as I said, I've got 5 different runs that we go over within your program. And I'm going to be telling you what paces you need to be running on each workout. So when you get to the gym, you know how fast you need to be running. You need to know how to set up the treadmill to hit the goals that you require, rather than just thinking, cool, I'm going to do 800 meters. Let's just bam, 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 set it here. Okay, I'm going to go. Then on top of that, we go over very station specific prep. So I gave you 2 little hints earlier on about like the ski erg and the row when it comes down to about saving our legs, when it comes down to 80%, but that also gets based around you. That's based down to you as an individual, because in the testing week, I find out if we're going to be a little bit more station dominant or running dominant. So then it's personalized down to you as an individual. You also get the full technique library. So it's videos of me explaining technique to you, and then you get a video yourself if you want inside of the gym. Send it back to me. I analyze it, give you feedback. One thing I always recommend, send me warbles as like ideally as a bare minimum, because then we double check where your ankle mobility is, where your hip mobility is, and make sure that we can always hit depth when we're on the wall balls. We also go over the rule book together, so we know where all of the hidden penalties are. We make sure that you're not penalized in your Hyrox event, because I picked up a few penalties on my first Hyrox, and it is soul destroying. When you're running round and you see your name pop up on the screen with the penalty, you do genuinely question if you want to complete it. It sucks, but that is it. After that, you've got some race simulation workouts. We make sure that we're going along the right lines. And as I said, we've got those mobility and that recovery work as well to make sure that you train as hard as you recover, so we're not going to injure yourself. Then we've got nutritional and meal guidance. So this entirely depends down to you as an individual. We've got portion control guidelines. We've got meal plans. We've got calories and protein. I've got a full meal library. We find out how you want to be coached with your nutrition and we take it from there. On top of that, you get the pre-race strategy call. So we go over how your race is going to look, how your splits need to look, make sure that you're feeling confident and you're excited for your Hyrox, rather than the night before, oh shit, I'm not ready. Oh shit, I don't know what I'm doing. We make sure that you know exactly what you need to do before you go into that event. Then we go over that race week blueprint as well, where we go over your nutrition, very heavily focused on your nutrition, making sure during this race week, we are preparing your body well, we are recovering well, and when you are on that start line, you're like, right, let's go, rather than thinking, oh my God, I'm not ready for this. And then you get access to the Hyrox community as well. Now, all in, that is worth £350 a month. If you're Australian, it's about $700. But most importantly, you are going to get a result that you're proud of. If you follow the program, if you follow the coaching, if you communicate well with me, you will get results that you're proud of. Because I only work with a few people, and these few people, they're willing to put in the work. They want to go out and make themselves proud. They know that it is going to be hard work, but that's where the fun is. And they communicate well with me. And all of that, I promise you, you will get results that you're proud of. Now, as I said, all in, it is worth £250. Right now with the Hyrox 2.0 bundle, get a 14-day free trial. Prices start at, if you're in the UK, £49 a month. Australia, $45.99 a month. If you're in the US, $97 a month. If you want, you can literally scan that QR code on the screen right now and it will take you to the checkout page. That is saving you, by the way, for this bundle, 86%. You get 86% off. Now, if you're unsure, if you want to chat things over, if you have any questions, drop me a message on Instagram. We can book in a phone call. I'll go over any questions you may have. If you want to sign up, if you want results you're proud of, give that a little scan so you can go in, you can try it. If you don't like it, drop me a message, cancel. No love lost. I'm here to support you. I'm here to get you results. If you feel like I'm not going to be the right coach for you, that's so okay. Just hit cancel. If after 14 days you love it, let's go smash that Hyrox event. Anyway, have a great day, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.